I get scared sometimes to make videos because I think I'm going to get swayed in different directions. I step out of my house and somebody's going to call me, a friend's going to call me, my dad's going to call me, somebody's going to say something, and they're going to be like, what are you doing? Why? A tripod, a notebook, a camera, some pedestrian on the street. What's he doing? And then I'm afraid that I'm going to get swayed. I don't really know why. I don't know if I pulled out the camera to overanalyze that. Maybe when I was younger, when I froze up in situations where I really wanted to do something, somebody else just took over. But maybe that's where being a little stubborn comes into play, or maybe that's where being persistent comes into play, where you know what you want to do and you just do it, and you have to pay attention to those things or people or whatever that are trying to sway you. Feel that urge to get swayed, or that fear of getting swayed, and just do the thing anyway, because it's what you really want to do. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to communicate that, because I feel like for a long time in my life, or a lot of times at least in my life, I didn't do what I truly wanted to do. Whether that was approaching and talking to a girl, and and I was afraid that, I don't know, I would get embarrassed by her reaction or how the interaction went, and the people around me would see and they'd be like, haha, and I would get embarrassed. Or there were certain times in my life where I wanted to go into a certain career path, and I was afraid that my family would get really scared that wasn't going to be a good career path to go into. But there's this idea that people have talked about for a long time that I've heard my whole life about following your heart. And it seems like there's always some sort of resistance. And maybe following your heart involves getting guided by something. Well, your heart, your soul, God, whatever you want to call it. This thing, this force, this guidance, being guided by that rather than being guided by like random people who don't know what you actually want to do and just want to project their, ego desires of like, oh man, I want to be able to say that my son is doing really well right out of school, or I want to be able to say that I was right about what Troy should do with his life, instead of following those things. Because a lot of times we start to grow up, and those people saying those opinions kind of get in our head, and we think it's us, and we call it self-doubt, and we call it like my own hesitation, and we call it my own procrastination. But if we can realize that at some point in our life, those thoughts that didn't even belong to us, those opinions that just got into our head and became thoughts, are not ours, then we can view them and separate them, or separate ourselves from them, separate our soul, our perspective, our best self from those things, from those opinions. And then we can realize that we don't have to listen to them. And I don't think that we should get mad at them either. I mean, if you feel angry at those thoughts that so many people have influenced you your whole life, and you feel like you've wasted a bunch of time and you haven't done what you've wanted to do in your life because somebody else was holding you back, you have to realize, I think, that you have to care about those thoughts and about those opinions and about those things that probably kept you safe when you were a kid, because people were telling you what they thought was right, and they probably did keep you safe. Like, don't go outside, don't try new things, probably kept you safe for a long time. But now that you're an adult and you really, like, you're starting to realize, like, oh, I have to if I want to live a life that I want to live, and I want to be successful, and I want to do what I want to do in life, and I want to be happy, and I want to be in line with who I really am, and I want to feel fulfilled, I have to, or at least it's the right choice to follow my heart.